so you can be part of the community as we all plan out our businesses for 2025. I think that's the first time I've said that out loud. Gosh, 2025. Hello, and welcome to the Art of Value Whispering podcast. I'm your host, Melitta Campbell, Value Whisperer and business coach. And on this show, we look at how you can have an impact without having to be loud or change who you are. And one of the ways we can have an impact is by planning. And I'm very aware that planning isn't always the sexiest thing to do or the easiest, depending on your personality and your experiences to date. So I have started a bit of a tradition on the show that at the end of every year, through this series of what I call Planisodes, we are looking at one part of the planning process each day in a very short, simple podcast for you that you can follow along with. And come along to the Dream Clients Club. You find it at melittacampbell.com/club. And in there, you can follow along with the community. You can watch these videos. They'll all be grouped together with a spreadsheet so you can track your progress, keep everything together. And the nice thing with that spreadsheet is you can then refer back to it throughout the year. You can monitor how your goals are shaping up, what you're achieving, what you're not achieving, and why, and you can keep track. It's a very simple, straightforward framework for you. If you've been listening to this podcast or attending any of my live sessions, you'll know that's what I'm big on, is keeping things simple. So you can watch all of the sessions in order, you can download the framework, and you can comment on the live posts in there so you can be part of the community as we all plan out our businesses for 2025. So today's planning task is all about looking back at the year you've just had. What happened, what didn't happen, and what have you learned from that? So before we take a step forward, it's really good to reflect and regroup on where you are today. So that's what I want you to do. Just answer 3 simple questions, but you will need to reflect to answer these. And if you followed the Planisodes earlier in the year, you already have some of the answers there. So go back and look at those. I looked at the recording of this year's Planisode, and it was very interesting hearing what I was thinking versus where I am right now. And I'll dive into that in a moment. But I want you to think about, what were your big goals of 2024? Just note them down and then reflect for each of those goals. Where are you now? Did you achieve them? If you did achieve them, how did that work for you? What was the impact? What did you make happen? What were the lessons you learned that enabled you to achieve success? And if you didn't make the goals happen, what did you learn from that? Was there a specific reason why you didn't achieve your goals? Often not achieving your goals can teach you an awful lot about what it takes for you to succeed. So maybe you didn't achieve your goal because when it came to it, that just wasn't a priority for you. Or maybe you didn't achieve it because there was a gap in your knowledge, or you didn't have the support, or you needed a bit more community around you to feel able to take that step up. There could be so many different reasons, but understanding not just the fact that a goal was missed, but why it was missed, there can be a lot of valuable lessons in there. So I want you to dig into that. What were your goals at the beginning of 2024, and what happened next? Reflect on that. Then the second question is, what were your proudest moments? And these can be related to your business, but not necessarily. Maybe there were other achievements that you felt particularly proud of. Anything goes here. I want you to really brainstorm as many of your achievements and proud moments as possible. And then think about, what was it about those moments that made you feel so proud? And what did you do to make those achievements possible? And reflect on that for a moment. What does that tell you about what you're capable of doing? And perhaps what does that tell you about the environment that you need to make success happen? So look at your proud moments, but then take that step deeper into what happened around those to make them happen. Why were they so meaningful for you? And what does that tell you about what you need to be successful and what more you can bring into your business, how you can lean into those lessons to make 2025 your best year yet. And then finally, question 3 is, what were your biggest lessons that came out of this year? Again, really think deeply about this. And I asked this question in the Action Networking event we had a couple of weeks ago. And it was really interesting because many of the biggest lessons that came up for people didn't necessarily come from their business, but they could really be applied to their business. So I want you to think about, what did you learn about yourself, your business, your clients, what works and what doesn't work for you this year? What were those big lessons? And then how can you use those next year? What do you need to remind yourself of? Are any of those lessons, this is my big one, lessons that you keep learning? So when I look back at the Planisodes from earlier this year, at the beginning of 2024, a big thing that I was considering at that point was going all in on the concept of value whispering. It felt a very big step. It felt very scary. But now looking back, I feel like I need to go even more into value whispering, because in January, almost as soon as I started to talk about value whispering, IMD, which is an executive university here in Switzerland, asked if I'd write an article for their magazine about it. That was a big signal to me that, wow, if I just have a simple conversation with someone and they ask me to write an article in a very prestigious magazine for this big university, this idea could have legs. And then I continued the discussion and I've started to reorient some of my content around value whispering. A lot of things it was just renaming, because it wasn't anything dramatically different to what I've done before. It was just a different name and focus for it. And then 2 months ago, I got to give my TEDx talk on that topic, introducing value whispering to the world. And that had an amazing response. And now I'm taking that talk and making that my signature talk, my keynote for 2025. And I'm really excited about taking that forward. And I've started to work with corporate women to bring this concept to them, as well as women who are self-employed. And it's working brilliantly for them as well. It's helping them see themselves and appreciate their value in a whole new light, so they can build that confidence and start sharing it and talking about it within their organizations and get more of what they want without having to be loud or change who they are. And I'm really excited to do more of that next year. So if you do have a group and you would love for me to come and share my signature talk on value whispering, I would be delighted to come and speak with your group. Just drop me a note in the Dream Clients Club or on LinkedIn. You can connect with me there and we can have that discussion. But yeah, it was really interesting to see how unsure I was about this concept at the beginning of the year, how it's evolved over just 12 months, and how that is really taking shape and taking a whole new direction in 2025. That's really exciting. So I am really looking forward to seeing what's happened for you this year. Where did you start at the beginning of this year? What did you think, oh, maybe I could do this? What really took off for you? What didn't happen? I was planning to do a follow-up to the Dream Clients Summit that I ran last year. This year, that didn't happen, but I realized that for the amount of work that's needed to pull that off, it wasn't a priority. I had a new team in place, so there were just a lot of things that were changing. So it's okay that that didn't happen. So what happened for you this year? How were things evolved? And what were the big lessons and proud moments that came out of that for you? Come and share your insights in the Dream Clients Club. Again, you'll find us at melittacampbell.com/club. I look forward to hearing all about it, and I'll be back tomorrow with Planisode number 2. See you then.